All right, we can start this wonderful stream. We wave and say hello to anyone that might come later on or during it or at some point. I was also going to say that the stories from last night were kind of entertaining. And, it's really funny. A lot of times when I do the live show, it just sort of, because it's a general topic kind of thing. So people just discuss whatever. And then during it, something will come up and everyone will just kind of latched onto it. I was during the live show last night mentioning how when you do things online, you just have to kind of be expectant of people, being weird when it comes to just some of the stuff they say. So I brought up the examples of how there was one individual who, I'll read that in a moment, Ruben, had said that I was supposedly a future rapist, even though I've never, done anything like that at all. And the entirety of my crimes toward women has been from my mouth, so rhetoric versus actually doing anything to these people. But I was saying how when you're online you oftentimes have to deal with these characters who say things that either you find offensive or that you don't understand because you can't bring yourself to comprehend what they're talking about since you feel it doesn't make any sense. So I did a story on this website. I'm not going to say which one it is because they've been getting on my nerves a little bit more recently. And a person left a review in another language, and I was really confused. But I guess you know what, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because for all I know, they could have said something decent. So I go and plug it in, and the person says, "This is an interesting story, but I don't know what's going on." It's like, how can you find something interesting that you don't even understand the plot of? That's like me saying, uh, I really love when, I don't know, I eat this food, but it makes me feel sick. What? And I noticed that this is the second time consecutively on that site where I've looked for a review because you kind of get a little excited. Oh my God, someone is reacting to my thing. And it's always something dumb. Like the other person actually didn't write anything bad about this other thing I wrote on there, but they were bragging about how an adult could beat up a little kid. They were like, this adult character could beat this little kid up. It's like, yeah, that's kind of the point of the age gap and the. I mean, it was just amusing that they actually saw that as some substantive argument. Like, yeah, if this grown adult was here, they could beat up this child. One second. Let me see if I have this correct. Okay, Ruben said another good person to research. William Randolph Hearst. All of the news political movements are shooting themselves in the foot about how to respond to his death. It's hilarious. When I first got the news, I thought it was fake, and I still haven't registered it yet. Um, I mean, I saw it on the Hill. They were talking about the crash, and it was really. I don't want to run into. So to give a little bit of context, when a certain musician died about a year and a half ago, about three or four of his fans spent about half a week every day on my channel going, "You need to talk about him. You need to talk about him. You need to talk about him. You need to talk about him." And I said, I don't cover music, so why would this be something I do a whole stream about? Because my belief system has been to avoid a death in the limelight. So if I didn't talk about this person before they died, which with him I did not, I don't really see the point in doing a whole stream or whatever, pretending like I'm so affected or interested in this. Because I'm not. I think it was a sad, that horrible thing that happened. But I mean, I don't. I said before, I don't follow sports. Um, so that's that. Uh, there's actually a clip of him from 2 weeks ago on. I think it was one of the late night shows talking about the two of them and their relationship with each other and who they could beat if they teamed up or something. I saw the because I put Kobe's name in the YouTube search engine, and I was able to find that because I just they have it all listed in chronological order. So I went and saw that, and it was I didn't bother to look in the comment section to see if anyone had said Oh, this is now so eerie considering what happened a few weeks later. Let me see. And then Music Fiend is cursing in my chat, which is frowned upon. We don't like profanity unless I'm using it. One of the biggest no nos. We make sure that anytime you do that, you end up getting ignored for the remainder of it. It's like you don't even exist. Always over here trying to look all edgy with his bad words. Dude, I have never seen this person before. No, I don't. I don't think that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I don't think the government had anything to do with it. Because again, most of these deaths just the first after the first maybe week, it dies down a lot. And one of the reasons for that is because a lot of the people who are claiming they're so affected by it get over it very quickly because they weren't. It's on an act. Major influence with how media operate. Hearst's dad was impactful too. Oh, we gotta do a Hearst family documentary. I'm not saying that as a joke. I just, God, I'm still trying to get these other ones wrapped up or in production. I don't want to feel like I'm being, piled on or whatever. So that's why I'm just kind of joking about it. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm just not going to read reviews on any of these sites anymore. They're not productive. I remember I had this one hooligan who I had sent a book at the start of I think 3 years ago, and I basically forgot after a couple of months had passed because the person never said anything back. And then all of a sudden, 6, 7, 8 months, like basically after some ungodly amount of months, this person goes, I thought the concept was interesting, but the characters didn't appeal to me, and I didn't like the stuff. The kind of reviews where they'll say one nice thing and then trash the rest of it. And the funny thing is, they try to pretend as if they're being nice because they'll say, "Oh well, you should keep on trying," but you just trash the entire thing. Like that makes your review worthless to me. So that's my point about. And I've said before, people will say that someone is against criticism and whatnot. I said no, people have the right to critique things, but you also have the right to ignore it. And I don't see what is helpful with someone trying to tell someone how bad something that they worked on for months was. I'm just saying it goes. It's a lot more nuanced than people give it credit for. Let me see. Megumi decided to show up. I haven't seen him in so long. I was so disappointed he didn't come to the live show yesterday. I made sure to slip my wrist after the fact. I got the little hand injury right here. News critique. No, Megumi, I had these two stories I wrote on this website, and the only reviews, because I didn't write that much, was like a chapter or two. One of them had a review where the guy was like, yeah, if only this 17-year-old was here, he could beat up this little kid. It's like, yeah, no duh. And then the other one was this other person who said, I think the story is interesting, but I don't know what's going on. And I was saying, how can you find something interesting but then not understand what's happening? That's like me saying, I love to eat these burgers, but they make me sick. Like, how do you love it if it makes you sick? Let me see. And Ruben just named a whole bunch of people. Oh, granddaughter was the spoiled rich girl who was messing around with the Weather Underground movement back in the 1970s. Oh, that's the one that got pardoned by Carter, right? I forgot her name, but always a front. Hearst, along with Joseph Pulitzer, got the U.S. into the Spanish American War, where the U.S. took over Cuba and the Philippines. I don't want these people to start disappearing, so we got to hush the political stuff. That comes back another day. You got to make sure that's hush hush. That'd be funny if right as I'm reading that, the chat number just drops to like 2 or something. Like, I don't want to hear this political stuff. All Laker players besides MJ. Okay, always a front and facade many people like to portray themselves as. I don't know what Megumi is responding to, so I'm just gonna read his comment and scratch my head. Don't even bother to interpret it. That's what I'm gonna do with those reviews now, because I always get the notification of my email. I'm just gonna see, oh, new review posted. All right, well, nothing, no response. And it sucks because that was posted in another language, and I said maybe they wrote something that's actually worth reading, and then you put it in the translator and it's garbage. So, Texas AFL-CIO endorses color prime. Ooh, this is interesting. AFL-CIO is basically the establishment wing of the establishment wing of the labor movement, bootlicking for every Democrat. No, I don't believe in conspiracies, Young Link. And it's a sad thing that happened, but I'm not, I said before, I'm not into sports, so it didn't really affect me one way or the other. Trump is still hated regardless of who dies and who doesn't. Yeah, that's what I don't get about these people. He has a horrible approval rate. He's had a bad approval rate. Didn't they say he had the lowest one since they started recording it 70 years ago? So, no amount of celebrity deaths is going to change anything about that. The Texas chapter of a major union federation has endorsed Democratic primary challenger to Rep. Henry Cuellar. Cuellar's main primary challenger, Jessica Cisneros, announced support from the Texas AFL-CIO on Sunday in a video with the union's chapter president, Rick Levy. The 240,000 members of the Texas AFL-CIO said that we are going to stand proudly with Jessica Cisneros in the race for Congress. Levy said, "Yay! So we can get Cuellar out of there, and we'll have one less clown to worry about." I can't believe Ruben wanted the Adam Schiff documentary before Ro Khanna one. That's all. That's treason. I don't know why he would think that was a good idea. I want him to explain himself right now. No, number is just. I told you the streams are like a yo-yo. Sometimes you'll have 5 people, sometimes you'll have 10, sometimes you'll have 15. Then it'll go right back to 5. And I told you that when you're the person who's like at the center or something, you get blamed for even for stuff you can't control. Like somebody could not show up because I don't know they're in class or at school or something, and I would get blamed for that. Well, you should have paid for him to show up. You should have flown to his state and dragged him out of class and told him to turn on his computer. Oh my God. I let Schiff has more power over Congress. That's why I wanted about him first. Well, I mean, wouldn't couldn't you say that about Pelosi and Nadler too? I mean, really, all the ones that are chairmans of some committee theoretically would. Oh hell, I don't even want to think about that. All the ones that are heads of some committee could potentially be the, you know, have more power and be more worthy of having one or whatever. But I am interested in that because no one's going to make that unless I do it. Or if they do make one, it's just going to be a stupid clip show like that jank documentary that guy made. Um, no, I think Schiff is more interesting. Like the only thing I've seen from Nadler from his past that was remotely worthy of being talked about was his little saga during the Clinton impeachment because they've been playing clips of him and his blubber butt from that period. I swear, when I first saw the video, of how he looked 20 years ago. And this is not an insult at his current appearance at all, but it's just like, man, he must have been on Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig, and and I never bring up how these people look at all, but like that actually stunned me that he had lost so much weight. It's like, damn. It's like him and Al Sharpton got together. We're just like, we need to, for the new millennium, we need to see a pound decrease. Oh my God. Jesus. But Ruben, if I did do one on Shift, where would the cutoff point be? Because like when I told you about the Stone one that I had interest in doing, I wanted to see if he was convicted on what, like what charges for the trial to play out. So would it end with him becoming chairman or what? Because I don't want it to, end with the middle of the impeachment thing, because that's kind of a uh-oh. What Megumi? What's wrong? Blowjob lawyer Ken Starr helped Jeffrey Epstein get away with a slap in the wrist and is now advocating for Trump. And didn't Barr's, so Trump's attorney general's dad, have Epstein working at the school that he was the headmaster of, and write some novel that basically is the plot of what Epstein was doing? The plot is similar to what Epstein's doing. We may need to change the topic due to keep the numbers up, possibly. I mean, they're gonna come and leave no matter what I do. Hey, we change. We're gonna start talking about whores. Like, I one time was sticking my, inside of this rod, and all of a sudden she told me that she was with another man, and I said, "This doesn't make any sense." I went, "Bleh." And then all of them just jump back in. Oh, I can't wait to hear this story. Yeah, they love that stuff, man. I'm not against incorporating it into the, any stream I do. It just sucks that it's so one note. You can cut it off anytime you want. You can even wait after impeachment. I just felt like you should know more about. Oh, no, no, no. I'm not disputing learning about him. What I'm saying is, like for the Giuliani one, right? That ends after 9/11, and then the second part would be everything that happens after that, between, so basically between 2002 and then when Trump gets elected, and then the third and final part would be, all of his little shenanigans with this Ukraine stuff. Got 3 hours on Giuliani. That's a tall order. Yeah, I'm saying that with Schiff, I wanted, for the purposes of providing a complete or somewhat complete story, having a cutoff point, like a certain year, you just stop covering it. So that was my point. Just like with the door one that I'm still planning on doing. It's going to be a quarter by quarter retrospective on his content. So it'll be called Jimmy Dore in 2019 quarter one, and it'll be from all of the stuff, all of his positions that are notable from January to March of that year. Yeah, Ruben, that's what I'm thinking of doing for the Shift one. But you get the point that with respect to making a product, or rather making a video that has a narrative endpoint, that actually feels satisfying and conclusive, you have to pick some period that isn't just random. Like I cut off at 9/11 because for Giuliani, that's literally where becomes rich after that. All these speaking appearances, height of his popularity, and now leading to part two. So this isn't me just saying I don't want to do this. It's me basically weighing my options here. But again, I'll give it more thought after I finish the Giuliani one this week. Hell, and then we still got the Corbyn one in development. Hell, because I got to wait for that election. And what is it, May? Oh, that'll be the worst thing ever if I if they cancel it or delay it further. And then we're gonna do our inevitable Obama one. That thing is gonna be one part, and it's gonna be probably 3 or 4 hours long. Oh my God. We're gonna have so much stuff in there people don't even know about, and we're gonna put the sources up on the screen. It'll be, it's gonna probably be in my top 10 favorite videos if I actually am able to do it as well as I'd like. It won't even matter how bad the lighting is. It won't, none of that. It'll be perfect. You see here, because he hasn't really um, had an in-depth. Again, people when they do documentaries, it's usually just clip shows where they talk about the presidency. They don't really examine the person's entire life, and that really does piss me off with respect to a lot of these examinations, if you can call them that. And it was supposed to be Sunday news. I only talked about one news story. Well, technically two, because the Kobe thing as well. New poll came out today. USA Today / Suffolk University survey: Biden at 25, Sanders at 19, Who the Trash at 18, Liar Warren at 13. So they're just sitting in the same spot over and over. I saw somewhere that one of the Nickelodeon higher ups was friends with Epstein. If true, makes the Dan Schneider rumors more believable. Yeah, that I remember that was a really creepy guy, right? He's another person that's worth going into. Oh, imagine if I did documentaries on serial killers. You know how quickly those people would come and watch this stuff. But I wouldn't do any of the big ones. Like who's on? No, I'm gonna shut up. But that was basically one of the first things I got into, which was just like crime and a lot of these murderers and stuff. Because I thought it was interesting how they caught them, and then what would end up happening is if you show enough interest in that stuff, people go, "Are you trying to be one too? Are you planning on uh, committing these massacres as well?" It's like, come on, man. Like they'll ask the person who reads it, a book about one of these guys if they want to do that stuff, but they won't say it about the people who actually write it and make movies about it. Because I said that I believe that when you do bad things, you get a reward for it in contemporary society. Dahmer would have never had a movie made about him if he wasn't a murderer. If he had just been some regular dude working at some crappy ice cream shop in the '90s, he wouldn't have got a film. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just telling the truth. I was told statements like that too for looking at underground crimes. Yeah, it's really ridiculous because when you examine this stuff and you actually are talked to by people with brains about it, you don't sympathize with the individuals who do this stuff. You just find it interesting. And these are videos with thousands of views. These are best-selling books, so you're not in some minority of people who are showing interest in this stuff. What makes sense, Megumi? I mean, hell, Megumi, if you get off your computer right now and slice up 20 chicks, you'll be more likely to get on the news than if you went around your entire country handing people flowers and doing goodwill activities. See, I'm not like them. I purposely only talk about people I like that have done something that I think is good. That's why with the documentary stuff, the two guiding principles of it are people that are lesser talked about than, like, for example, I would never do one on King because it's been done so many times before. I'm not interested in it. Um, the point is, it's people that don't get covered as often, or it's people that I like that I think should get covered more. Society rewards those for bad and grievous things. Yeah, I did a whole stream about my top 5 favorite subscribers because I reward good behavior. We're gonna have to actually update that list soon. Like you can make a video on the top 10 stupidest comments, but not on the top 10 people that actually say some decent stuff every now and again. why I said just people are weird, man. The way they reason and think about stuff. Oh, I know he was Ruben. They actually, if I remember correctly, he got drunk and one of his his colleagues took a picture of him to basically get him thrown out of there. Yeah, they don't care. You can you just do bad things and you'll get remembered. It's really kind of disturbing. I mean, God, people are really pathetic. That's all I can say. It just feels like the only way to truly get recalled is just that I'm actually going to save this topic for another for an upload because I think this will be interesting to just like talk about why out of entire industries or fields do certain people get recalled and the rest of them just dumped into this oasis of names. Sunday News with I first started off with the people writing the reviews that I thought were dumb and I wasn't going to read any more of them. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see what else is here. Uh oh yeah, that was funny that Thunberg uh her okay, so the Treasury Secretary, his wife accidentally I think tweeted out something, put up some picture in support of her by mistake. It's like we're supposed to hate her, honey. Get rid of that picture. All right. I don't even know why I'm using that voice because let's see, Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. overshadow other rappers, including other dead ones. Oh yeah, they you don't hear about Easy E anywhere near as often as those other two. And I told you that what ends up happening when you question this system is that people think you're trying to make the ones that get remembered. Like for example, I said the civil rights movement, you should hear about other people like the Big Six, like A. Philip Randolph, James Farmer, um, plenty of other people that were Ralph Abernathy, which was King's number two guy, that actually took over as the leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference after King's death. And I had a person who's like, "Oh, so you're saying that you don't think King deserves?" Like, no, no, I'm not talking about whether someone deserves recognition or a holiday or whatever. I'm speaking about the fact that they'll prop up these same couple of people, and then everybody else just gets overlooked. And I really hate that. So it's pathetic, but I mean, hey, it happens. There are a lot of labor figures that are it's kind of that way with too, where the first president of the AFL-CIO, George Meany, really popular supposed cultural icon. All the ones after that, including Trumka, who I don't like, the current one, totally ignored. We'll have to settle for the status quo. Man, screw the status quo. The status quo props up murderers and ignores good men. Why do you think all these chicks want to date some dude that doesn't have a pot to piss in and treats them like trash? Because that's what they've been fed. And where did Music Fiend go? He just vanished. I guess I'll have to remember him. Also, remember that time Music Fiend came in there and started swearing, even though I told him not to. Yeah, status quo is really horrible. But I said before that it can be removed because let's pretend every just American decided to learn about I don't know Jesus. Then that particular I mean I don't want to get into a debate about religion, but that subject, whether you believe he was real or not, uh, would not be forgotten. And I don't think something like that should be forgotten if it's significant enough for millions of people to believe in it. I think even those that don't believe in it should at least know what it is. Like, I don't believe in Scientology, but I still know who founded it, Ron L. Hubbard. Alternative media keeps hyping up Henry Wallace as someone to get admired, but still doesn't get a major following. I mean, isn't it the same thing with Humphrey, where he was the person who wrote the Civil Rights Bill, but then Kennedy gets the credit for supposedly being the president that cared about civil rights, or being the one that introduced the first Peace Corps bill, but still not getting any acknowledgement because he wasn't the president who signed it in the law. We go down the list, man. There's a whole bunch of little stuff that people did that gets completely overlooked. Oh, Nadler's wife has cancer. Damn. This is like the year of these last couple months have just been the period of horrible stuff happening to people's spouses. Like we had the thing with who was his name? With Clyburn with his wife, where he was married to her for over 50 years, and then she died a couple months back. God, I can't picture anybody married like that's been married in the last maybe 2 or 3 years being together for 50 years, because you hear about these celebrities getting, you get the point that it's that seemed to actually be true love versus this crap today where, oh, I don't think you're pretty enough. I don't think that I've ever seen Humphrey get mentioned, or at least not frequently. Ruben, I did a video about him a couple of years ago. He's definitely on my list of people to do a documentary on. He's in my top 10 favorite U.S. politicians of all time. Yeah, the combination of Johnson as president, Humphrey as VP is probably my favorite duo for that particular office. Vietnam notwithstanding. Like I said, man, these people will gas you up with these international issues, but they have no respect for any domestic accomplishments. Let's see, Israelis allowed to take religious business trips to Saudi Arabia. Republican Senator Trump's. Hey, Ruben, we should do a list of like the top 10. Oh, okay. I think it's funny that the alternative media keeps talking down about FDR and his legacy while at the same time embracing Smedley Butter and the business plot. I don't think that okay, look at the comment I said about FDR. I mean, look, you got to understand that Roosevelt is completely antithetical to the current US. They cut, like, the current politicians from both parties want to cut Social Security. They're not for assisting regular people, and they've helped to demonize any kind of attempt at the federal government helping. Free college is a handout, even though you have to still go to the school and pass the classes yourself by studying. That's why you're not going to see him get talked about that often. Hell, have you actually seen any of out of all the Democrats that ran this time around, the only two out of over 20 of them that ran, I saw mention FDR, out of all these candidates were Sanders and Warren. And I actually haven't seen Warren mention him outside of one speech that was in a video that was before the campaign took place. Because they're not trying to be like him. That's why they keep sucking off Kennedy. Because this whole idealism and saying some random quote that means nothing, it's all there for the purpose of being able to drown out actually discussing substantive solutions to problems in the US. That's why I said I can at least, like, a lot of the Republicans will do the same thing with Reagan, but they on occasion will actually bring up something he did. With a lot of the Democrats that do the Kennedy bootlick, and they're literally trying to drown you out of the fact that they're empty suits by bringing up quotes and random lines. And I find it disgusting, but that's how the party is at this point. That's at least how the politicians are. Mm. Ruben, we need a maximum list of people to mention on here. What were you going to say earlier? Um, I don't even know anymore. Oh, okay. That we need like a list of the top 10 senators to, the current ones anyway, to do a documentary on. Then we need a top 10 presidents to do one on. Then we need a top 10 um, political commentators to do one on. Like, don't put Jimmy on there because he's already getting something regardless. He's going to get a massive video series about himself. So that'll be a lot more easier to do than me just randomly guessing. Oh yeah, he wants Kerry and he wants Cone. I just need some structure. Oh, and then we need to do the representative. So we got Schiff, Nadler. Do I want to do Pelosi? Hmm. Maybe I'll put a question mark under that. But Schiff and Nadler, and then Ro Khanna. No AOC, never. She's on my ban list. She's she's on my ban list with Kennedy and King. That already makes her sound cool. Like, you get enough coverage. I'll cover every other squad member besides her, and they still aren't on my agenda. Because Ruben, you remember you got dissatisfied with them. I'm in the same kind of feeling too. We should do like a weekly Roe story. We're gonna just have like a whole category of videos on Roe. It's like this week, Roe said this. That'll be 50 videos a year. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. So many important people, so little time to do it. But I am glad about, like, when I wrote the McConnell one. It's funny because I actually had to sit on the Senate website, and then also there's like two books about him. I had to read some of those, and even then, I still had to, for the most part, look up stuff myself because they don't really talk about the period prior to him becoming the Republican leader in the Senate. To this day, I have not watched Knock Down the House, and most likely never will. Yeah, me neither. But you know that they're doing all this stuff just to prop up a couple of people. And I told you that a lot of the voters and the, I guess, what's a good word for it? The people who don't watch, these on underground sources as much, they don't really get the difference between Sanders and Pelosi. I mean, we had Trump do a rally, what, last week, where he said the two's name in sentences right apart from each other. He tries to make his supporters think they're similar. They have, one is a socialist, so the other one must be too, even if she opposes literally everything he wants to do. So it's really a sad thing. But like I said, I am looking forward to. I don't know. It just feels like a long time since we got a documentary. Because I remember the problem with the Taft and the Johnson one was I didn't have clips, and now I do. So I just have to put those in, and then maybe I'll try to barrel roll through it tonight. Oh my God, it's Metadol, the streaming video game extraordinaire that has like 2 billion subscribers, and every time you say hello in the chat, she ignores you because you didn't give her a super chat. I saw an ad on Telemundo the other day about the Democratic presidential primary, and it skipped out Sanders and Yang. Are you surprised? I know Yang isn't your top person, but he was right about them keeping his name off of the. I mean, they've done whole segments where they cut his face off of the imagery of the candidates. They're just so slimy, man. So gross. I wanted to vomit. I can't get super chats. I'm not that good. Yeah, you'll notice that when you have it, very few people will click it ever. You could have 30 people watching your stream, and every maybe one person might click it if you pray hard enough. I can't even do political news. All anybody wants to talk about is Kobe. This happens every time some celebrity dies. They come on channels that have nothing to do with whatever that person was known for and go, "Why don't you talk about this person? Why haven't you discussed?" I said, "I'm not interested. I don't believe in the death in the limelight." That's why we have that term where someone lives year after year and you don't say anything about them and out they're dead. Oh, let's have a 2 hour discussion about this person's life and legacy. Screw that. But like I said, they enjoy harassing people with that stuff. Why don't you talk about Kobe? I didn't talk about him before he died. Why would I talk about him after? I'm not going to get on here and act as if this was my some person I can't live without. No, I would hate that if you have. Let's pretend I was some famous political commentator, which I'm not, with I don't know 800,000 subs. Or something. Then I died, and then they go on channels of people playing games. Why don't you talk about Justin? Why don't you talk about Justin? Why don't you talk about Justin? It doesn't matter. It has nothing to do to them. I read something about Syria today, but I don't remember what it was. I read something. Excuse me. I got your. I made you grammatically not sound cohesive, and that was my mistake. I misconstrued you. Happens all the time. Continuous cycle. Yeah, Megumi. They did the same thing when that Florida rapper died. They came on my stuff day after day, and I. You know what? I bit the bullet and I did a video on him, and I was nice. I didn't insult him. And I had these people in the comment section. I can't believe you would say he was just starting out. It's like, that's an insult to you, really? All right, well, hey, I'll never talk about him again. And at least anything with his name in the title. Yeah, Ruben, that one. I actually forgot his name, like how to pronounce the 10 part. I wish no harm to people who fly in helicopters, but I really don't care for basketball players. I know it's not PC to say, but oh well. I mean, there's a difference between saying I don't care versus I'm glad. And I said, I just this means nothing to me because I didn't pay attention to them because I'm not into that field, and they'll get offended by something like that. Well, that was my point, Ruben. He just began his career with having an album, and it's like they got this person actually got offended by that. Like that, they interpreted that as an insult that he was just starting out. So I told you, you can't win on here. People will find a reason to take issue with anything. Oh, you probably had somebody get offended by me not calling him by his name, even though I genuinely couldn't remember how to pronounce it. Oh, there they go again. They're more mad at me for getting somebody's name wrong than the person who killed him. And you can say it was bad, you can say it was a horrible thing that happened, but as long as they know in your heart of hearts that it didn't make you, I don't know, feel compelled to do some enormous tribute video, they lose their mind. Isn't it the truth though? Yeah, Megumi, that's the point. I'm supposed to make this. He was what 20. This 20-year-old person sound like they were a veteran of rapping when they weren't. They had a career that was just beginning that ended too soon, and then this person got pissed at me for saying that. So I said I'm done. I don't even. I'm not even gonna bother. Like I said, we've already been exposed to the weird ways that people interpret things. Like that chick that got mad because I would complain about something at the start of a call. Apparently, I have to wait 2 hours to be able to complain about anything. I just thought like that by itself is insane. You get upset that I mentioned it at the start of the call. I have to like what plan out to say it in 80 minutes or something. That's just another example. People, that's how they operate. They say and do weird stuff. Okay, let me see. Where's this account? These people on these websites leaving weird comments and getting mad over everything. I don't even say anything offensive, and they still get pissed. That's why I said a lot of times if there's some big news story, I feel like I might as well just ignore it. Like I actually had one of them come on a stream, and it was some other person died around that same period, and they're like, this person's death was more important. It's like, then go watch a stream about them. Like, why are you here? Because see, and what gets on my nerves is how they can't think beyond themselves. So if they were watching a stream about this person whose death was more important, and I came on there and I said, no, this other person was more important, they would be the first one to call me rude, to call me out of my name, to say all kind of little stuff that they feel, but when they do it, it's all right. Imagine going to someone's funeral. Hey, we should go more than this other guy. He was a bigger deal. That's why I say the internet lets people just do anything and write and say whatever they want. That's why you can't take it seriously because it's just it's no man's land. Hey Ruben, you remember Ranma the what was it called? Anything goes martial arts. That's we have anything goes typing on here. Just no thought or consideration at all. No man's sky. I remember my best friend we had a joke that they were eventually going to make not movies make helicopters cost about $100 or about the same price as a car, and instead of drive-bys in the hood, you're going to get flybys where people on, are up on some helicopter just firing down at some other person, and they're dodging the bullets like Jackie Chan. I guess it wasn't your sky, Ruben, if you think so poorly of it. That'd be funny if you mailed a copy back to the development team and you put a letter and it's titled "How to Make a Good Game" and it's you criticizing their game for maybe 4 or 5 straight pages. It's like, P.S. You are free to implement this advice, but can I at least have some credit, like my name in the credits of the sequel? I thought it was funny because a lot of people actually, when you try to say like an opinion, they still try to refute it with emotion. Even if you have some fact, like for example, if a person's game sells the best out of any game ever, they're probably not going to think the game sucks because so many people bought it. And then you get the idea that they'll have some kind of data that goes against the point the person's making, and they'll still argue that what they're saying is substantive. That sounded like a GTA game based on the Castle in the Sky anime movie. Well, I didn't mean to make it sound that way. That's my error. Megumi says so stupid. He must have seen my intellect scores, my test scores. He now knows that I'm not intelligent. So this will be the last time Megumi shows up for a stream. So,
Keep the eyes open.
Jesus. Yeah, Megumi's not going to appear anymore. This is his final showing. That'd be funny if Megumi actually was on the news for doing like we find out he ripped off I don't know everyone's car lights in his whole country, and they're like, "That's the person with the millions of lights," and they make a movie about him called Megumi's Heist or something. And they asked him, "Why did you do it?" And he said, "Because I knew I would get a movie if I did something bad." Everybody hates the Sonic games, but they still sell. Well, remember, it's the kids that buy them, and it's the grown men that trash them. Like when I was a little kid, I really and I still do like Sonic Heroes because that was the first one on the consoles I played, and I saw the reviews. People like, I don't understand why someone would like this game. Man. So, and it's really funny to think about the hate that that game got in comparison with 2006 because that thing just blew all the. It made every game look good after that. It was just funny to see some people try to claim that the 3D games were bad, and then you look at the reviews for the adventure title. Like, you get the point that they can't even make claims that are substantiated by fact or by something bearable. They just want to have easy narratives. Like, yeah, when they made it 3D, that was why it became bad, even though we have 3D games that are considered good. Oh, we can't discuss about '06. Man, I remember the trailers for that game made it look so cool, and I remember I actually had even after because I don't like to go off of what people say about something unless I actually experience it. So I got it, and I was just, oh my god, the fact that like just people that they made that game sound like it was like the coming of the apocalypse, and then you consider all the other bad games, and they don't just you get the point that it's not as in hindsight destructive as they made it sound. It was just a bad game with good publicity. Like the biggest issue with that game was it looked cool, and then when you played it, no, all these glitches. And then we still haven't gotten a new game in what 2 years, except for that little dumb ROM hack that everybody loves. It's literally just an official ROM hack. We got a ROM hack, and we've got the little shorts on YouTube, and that's it. And then the Sonic Twitter. Then that's the franchise in its current capacity. Light dash and abruptly fall. You remember the fire level, the one where you're in Silver's timeline and you're running the Sonic and you have to jump over the stuff and you're oh, I hated that so much. Made into a PS3 game, affected its quality. Well, they were trying to put on the Wii too, remember? Not Wii 2, but the Wii as well. And then they found out they couldn't convert it or something. And they cut the team in half that was work. There was a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff. Only good part of that game was Blaze, who actually played well for some weird reason. Like I've seen so many reviewers who do in-depth analysis of the characters' play styles, and she's the only one they say wasn't broken. Everybody else sucks, and except her. It's like, why did this one character get their gameplay right? I guess 1 out of 9 isn't bad. Oh my god. Yeah, these games are. I'm so glad. The only good thing about not having my 360 anymore is I don't feel tempted to put that in and torture myself. So that's about it. What was I gonna say? I'm kind of running out of steam here. So look, I'll look into doing the shift one. Oh, Buddha Trash made a comment about. Well, I guess that's standard of these politicians. I'm so affected by this player's death. Yeah, I'm very affected by this. Yeah, we believe that. Um, but like I said, I'm gonna try to put the Giuliani thing out this week, and then I'll see if I can get some kind of preparation for the shift one. I got to look and see if I can find any decent amount of stuff about his early life, and then if I can, I'll be a lot more inclined to want to proceed with that. So hopefully that's enough of an answer to that looming question about whether I'll do one on him. I don't want Sanders to make a statement about Kobe, but he still might. Why don't you want to make a statement and join the rest of the people in being so horribly affected? Everybody's a sports fan all of a sudden. Oh, Jordan left a comment on it. He said he was like a little brother to me. I want to see what Ruben's rationale is for not wanting Sanders to say anything. Oh, okay, the bandwagon. Yeah, I get that. No, like I said, a lot of these politicians, they're trying to sound as if they care and they're so concerned. It's just like, man, leave some stuff alone. You don't have to comment on everything. Okay, 2 hours ago. I'm on his Twitter right now. I don't see anything. He's got a stream, and yeah, it doesn't look like he's gonna. Maybe not right now, anyway. Oh, did Hillary say anything? No. Good. She said enough. She can be silent for once. Maybe it's on his official because Sanders has two accounts, two or three of them. Oh, Ruben mentioned me in a tweet. Let's see, that's so sweet. You shared my thing. I can't. I just saw it. I told you I don't even go on Twitter anymore. So thanks for the link, or rather for the shout out from over there. All people in Congress have two accounts, including Trump. I know. I was looking for the other one because I'm supposed to be only following progressive people, quote unquote progressive people. So let me see. I got Ted Lieu, I've got Wyden, I've got Merkley. Uh, hmm, where the hell is this thing? Yeah, it's gonna get boring. People are gonna say, "Well, why isn't he saying anything? He made the stream horrible. I'm unsubbing." Okay, 2 hours ago, the American people are sick and tired of endless war. We must invest in human needs, not waste trillions of dollars on death and destruction. I don't see anything in here about Kobe, so it looks like he hasn't. So you've been alleviated, Ruben. You can now rest easy knowing that Sanders hasn't joined the bandwagon of people pretending that they're so affected by this. And I guess what I try to explain is that if you go on a lot of these individuals' social media, you can see them not post anything about this man year after year. Oh my God, Envoy is the 11th hour ranger. He's showing up right as I was getting ready to end this. For now, tomorrow is a different story. Yeah, Envoy, we were talking about how at the start of the stream that there was a guy that reviewed something I wrote, and he reviewed it in a different language. And so I got curious, so I put it in the translator, and he said something really dumb. He was like, uh, "I what was it? Yours, the story is interesting, but I don't understand what's happening." And I was I was saying, how can you find something interesting and then not know what's happening? That's why I don't even. I'm getting to a point where I just don't even read comments or reception anymore than anything I do, or like I don't seek it out. Rather, is what I should say, because it's never helpful. Like the guy's review literally doesn't mention anything specific. It's just like you literally could take what he wrote and post on any other story or any other thing someone else wrote. That's like if you ask me to review some movie and I say, good film, but went on a little too long. But Envoy, it's not whether he understood or not. It's the fact that you say one thing and then another at the end of it that they don't line up together. you find this interesting, but you don't know what's going on. Then how the hell can you find it interesting if you don't know what's going on? That's my point. Whether he didn't, you can't say that with the other thing and have it actually make sense. That's like me saying I'm always happy when Envoy comes to my streams, but I get a little sad too. It doesn't make any sense. How are you happy and sad to see him? That's like me saying I'm in love with a stripper, but when I look at her backside, no, no, no. I'm in love with a stripper, but then when I see her, I feel angry. How are you angry to see someone you're in love with every time? Like, what? Maybe he was being stupid. I agree, Envoy. That goes on all the time anyway with people. Yeah, can't make up their mind. Or remember Megumi, if you watched the Dear John letter video, you saw the broad that was like, "Let's talk as we enjoy each other," and and then 9 days later, I don't think we should speak anymore. After having 2 and 3 hour calls where she's laughing her behind off and talking about how great it was, and oh, I hate these people so much. They can't make up their mind about anything unless it's something that bad. That's the one time like they'll make up their mind to get knocked up, and that'll be it. They just do it without realizing, since they are so used to it. Yeah, they have no self awareness. Like I looked at the chick thing and I said, this is not changing year after year. Time to give up. Time to not expect them to be any different just because someone online who's never met me says it will be. Chicks do that a lot, Envoy writes. So do men, but obviously romantically, us men understand how women can be flaky. We need to do like a top 10 video of like the top 10 flakiest chicks I've encountered because some of the stuff they do is insane. I knew girls in high school who had 2 or even 3 kids before we graduated. Yeah, I went to school with one that was like that too, and it blew my mind because when I encountered this person, I had never even been screwed before, so it was just like, or been on a date rather. So I was sitting here like, how the hell have I never been on a date? But then this big booty clown has a. I mean, it's just I didn't understand it at all. I tell you, life is just a lot of the people in there and the levels of progress that certain people are on just are all over the place with respect to different parts of their lives. So I'll stream tomorrow. I don't know exactly what time, but we'll uh we'll pick this up. So thank you for watching. I'm very pissed off at Envoy because he decided to show up in the last couple of minutes. I guess trying to trick me into streaming for 2 hours is not going to work. Um, but thank you for appearing, 11th Hour Ranger. Have a good day.